And a dungeon. I am so happy there is a dungeon. I'm not even gonna lie. I mentioned it, I think, at the start of this chapter, but not having a dungeon in the last one for chapter 5 or chapter 6 really hurt. I feel like it's such a crucial point where you can create a lot more depths. Maybe you don't need to have it as the last point either. Doing a dungeon where it's not necessarily the final boss, but essentially a dungeon that you need to progress through to make it to the other end to get to a final boss on the other side of it. There's been 14. Is there anyone nope, just Sinclair.
하지만 스바이 협회의 해결사 아이기스는 이에 좌절하지 않고 뗏목을 만들며 드넓은 바닷가로 다시 나아간다.
Yet Aegis, fixer for the Zwei Association, refuses to let this destroy his spirit and sail once again to the Great Sea in a mere raft.
동료들이여, 단언컨대 지금의 시련도
My dear compatriots, this trial is but a stepping stone that will bring us to greater heights. One day we shall proudly engrave today's suffering upon our shields to remember it in better days.
그러니 포기하지 말고 앞을 향해 나아가세라!
Thus this battle is far from over. Find thy courage. Charge.
그들은 서로의 눈을 바라보며 굳세게 고개를 끄덕였다. 오!
Then they look at one another, while they're in the eyes, their determination forged in flame. Ooh, what a line.
하지만 눈앞에 질을 치고 있던 적에게서 무수한 화살 세례가 퍼붓는 것이 아니겠는가?
The scores of enemies are already waiting for them in ambush from the shores, loosen thousands of arrows upon them in sheer quantity, eclipsing the very sun.
장대비처럼 쏟아지는 화살 속이었지만 그들은 결코 물러서지 않은 채
The arrows rained down their fury upon our heroes, yet they stood their ground with their ironclad shields.
제 아무리 튼튼한 방패라고 해도
Yet there is no shield sturdy enough to withstand such unending onslaught. Even their iron shields begin to crack.
동료들은 모두
As the shields cracked, the mental fortitude of his men began to splinter as well, and many were seen slowly backing away from the battle.
안 돼! 포기하지 마세라!
Nay, we shan't ever give up.
내가 그대들의 방패가
I shall be
되어주겠다.
thy shield and wardman. Indeed, our shields are but tools that may break and splinter, but upon that moment I shall be the shield by which thou shalt be protected from our foes' arrows.
온몸에 화살이 내리꽂힌들
The arrows may break my body, but they shall never pierce my righteous heart of justice.
자네들은 계속
Row,
앞으로
row.
나아가시게.
Leave me and push on, men.
어떤 상황
No matter what trial may stand in our path, we shan't ever give up.
마세나. 오늘 모험도 참으로 박진감 넘치고 가슴이 뜨거워지는 이야기였군.
The adventure of today was just as exhilarating as it ever was. It hath set fire to the passion of mine heart.
스바이 해결사님께.
Ooh, this is very reminiscent of Dawn's art. Dear the most valorous fixer of the Jouet,
이 백설은 한 번째
how
역사라.
fairest thee? 'Tis my 131st letter.
하지만 본인의
Prithee excuse
정열적인
my
마음을
persistence.
담기
'Tis
위해서는
merely
어쩔
my
수가
passion
없었군요.
cannot
굴더라도
be well doused.
본인도 곧 해결사가
I
될
am soon
몸이요.
to be a fixer myself,
그대의 가르침에 따라
and with thy
정의를
teachings I shall
추구하고
become a
포기를
fixer
모르는
most just and
해결사가
persistent, who doth not know surrender.
잊지 마시게. 미래의 해결사 돈키호테여.
Forget not, O Don Quixote, fixer of the future.
해결사는 언제나 정의를
Forsooth, the
미덕으로
foremost
삼아야 하며
virtue of a fixer must be and always be the righteous justice.
도와야만 하며
Thou mustn't turn away from the needy. Thou must always put thy entire being into helping them.
물론 잘 알고 있어.
I am well aware of that myself.
내일은 트레스
Mine
협회와
adventure
모험을
on the
떠날
morrow shall be
예정인데
alongside the Trace Association.
트레스 협회라면
The Trace
최근에
Association.
빛을
Very
발하고
well.
있는
A
그
relatively
신규사표로
fledgling yet quite
도시와
prolific
해결사들이
association
사용하였다.
indeed.
그리고
It is said that
그걸
they
만드는
specialize in
공방을 관리한다.
tools and arms for the city dwellers and its fixers, as well as workshops that fabricate and maintain them.
해결사
Indeed, the
협회는
associations
역시 도시가 필요로
are
하는 순서대로
established in
세워지는.
order of need for the city.
그럼 우리의
And I
만남은
must bid thee
다음을
farewell
기약하기로
until
하지.
next time. Our next great adventure shall
다음에
be
있을 모험은
유적의 천둥 사막에서
the adventure
괴수의
at the
심장을 꿰뚫은 모험이지.
Levine Waste of Ruins, in which the heart of the beastly bird was pierced.
맹활약을
I
기대하겠네.
look forward to hearing thine exploits.
물론이지.
Pursuits.
언제나 그랬듯이
This adventure
이번
shall
모험도
be all have been
대성공일
thus
걸세.
far, as all have been thus far, a glowing victory.
나가지 않는 것을 제안하지.
I recommend you stay put inside.
이 바깥에는
There is no way to tell what awaits you past that door.
동의한다네.
I am in agreement.
누구인지도 모를 자에게
Recall the tale of the
함부로
Red
문을
Hood.
열어줬다가
You went
재앙을
in most
맞이한 빨간
unfortunate
두번을
from the
기억하게.
simple folly of welcoming in a stranger.
하지만 문을
Yet,
두드리는 것이라
Does knocking upon my gates
본인을 찾는 자가 있다는
must mean that a soul
소리
seeketh mine assistance. Wouldst thou not agree?
너카는 이 정도면 인내심 있게
Hi,
해준
Virgil.
것 같군.
I believe I've afforded you sufficient restraint. The build displayed is quite durable, my lady.
이런 구조라면
It should be able to withstand assaults from any pursuing blood fiends. No, even blood fiend hunters.
그들이 이 유적까지
It is an entirely
찾아올 수
different question if they can make it this far down to this ruin, of course. Whoever art thou?
저는
I
당신이 떠날 진짜
am your
모험에서
guide, the one who will guide you
안내해줄
our path in your real adventure.
벨길리우스라고
Please call me
불러들었습니다.
Virgilius.
저의 예전
My old
제노에게 전해주세요.
friend has told me
당신은
that you
제2권
are a
수가
second kindred.
되었습니다만
이건
Second kindred?
무슨 말이요?
Whatever art thou referring to? And my fellow fixers here have warned me that I mustn't leave the confines of this chamber.
이 눈을 보고도
Do my
떠오르지
eyes not
않으십니까?
remind you of anything?
너무 그리 무섭게
Really, do not glare at me
마시고요.
with such terrifying gaze.
그리고 본인은 가야 할 모험만
And there
1708개가 남아있단
remain still
말이오.
1,708 adventures of mine to
다음 날은
embark upon. On the morrow, I shall depart alongside the Trace Association and the day after that with the Hana Association. Then
이 포스터
the fixers on these posters, they're all from release
역시
several
그자의 말대로
decades
많은
ago.
것을 잠재워두었나.
It is as my fellow
배를 탐하는
has told me. So much of her slumbers, in even her instinctive craving for blood.
그들과의 모험은
Your adventures within
중요하지
them are
않습니다.
unimportant,
그리고
and you
그
won't have to
해결사들의
listen to these
말에
fixers anymore because
협회로부터 색을 부여받은
doesn't an adventure guided by me, a fixer bestowed with the title of a color, sound much more better than any of that?
잡지에서 본 적 있다네. 그 읽은 중에서도 뛰어난
Thou art
해결사만
a color. I have heard mention of such a thing from the magazines. That is a title and honor given only to the finest fixers.
생각이 얼마 되지 않아.
I have heard tell that the only very, very few fixers have ever been granted such expulment, for it hath been but a brief moment since such honor was established. Ah,
폐냄새조차 잠재워두려고
I see that you
하는
wish to
당신이
put every little bit of your past to sleep.
신분으로 대하는 건
Even that smell of blood, I will respect your decision and treat you accordingly.
그래.
Yes,
나는
I am the
모두를
guide who will
올바른
bring you
길로
to all the right,
인도하는
bring
겔자입니다.
you all to the right path.
이 여정에는
You must come with me, for this journey demands your company.
나와
In return,
함께해야 때가 되면
when the time is right, the promised timepiece shall come to be by your side.
향할 것이다.
약
Promised?
그래. 너도
Yes,
나처럼
you're bound by a promise,
약속에 얽매여 있지.
just as I am.
그러한 의미,
So,
이 눈을
remember these eyes.
너보다 한 단계
Remind yourself
나오지
time
않게
and
머무는
again,
내
every
눈을
time you look into the
바라보며
eyes that hold
끝없이
the blood of a
되새겨야
generation
하리라.
higher than your own.
본인은 당최
I have nary clue as to whatever that.
때가 되면
I speak of a
너에게
promise I
다시
will one day
찾아올
return to you
너만의 약속을
when the time is right. What? The way he. Remember yourself time and again, give you a look at the blood of a generation higher than your own. So Virgilus is a first kindred? Like, that's what that tells me. It's not like it's like, because Don's second kindred. So Virgilus would be a first kindred. I don't know if that explains anything, but speak of the promise that will one day return to you when the time is right.
지금은 잊고 있겠지만 결코 잊지
Oh,
못할
wait,
그
no, not that one.
약속을
This one.
다시 깨닫게
Remember it so that the unforgettable promise will one day return to you, so that you may keep it when the time comes, even as it eludes you now.
그것이 네가
That is the
나아갈
condition
모험의
of your
조건이다.
adventure.
이를 받아들일
If you are
마음이
willing to
있다면
accept these terms,
너의
then
이름을
speak your
내게
name to me.
말해라.
Don Quixote.
본인의 이름은
Thou mayest know me as Don Quixote.
아니, 그 이름은 내가 아니야.
No, that is not my name.
맞습니다, 산초.
Indeed, Sancho.
호기롭게 모험에 동참한
For
당신이었지만
all that passion you
이름은
joined the adventure
빌린 것에
with,
불과했습니다.
you were nothing but a pretender with a borrowed name.
당신의 모험이
There
가리키는
was
길은
but a singular
언제나
path in your
하나였죠.
adventure,
그분의
the
가르침대.
path laid by his teachings.
산초야, 나 말이다. 좋은 생각이 났다.
Sancho, I have conceived an idea most
하지
ingenious.
마십시오.
Please don't.
혈기 전쟁에
I
참전해
intend
보려.
to take part in the Blood Fiend War.
그 말은
You don't mean.
그래.
Indeed,
인간의 편에 설
I
거야.
shall stand with the humans.
반발이
Not everyone is going to like your ingenious idea.
이상할
You
정도로
sound rather
궁금하구나.
unsurprised by my
그럴
suggestion.
줄 알았다는 듯한
Do you
반응.
know what I would suggest as such?
조만간 그 말씀을 하실지도
I had a
모른다고
feeling that you'd be
예상했으니까.
saying something like that soon.
물론 다른 장로들이
Of
저마다
course, the other
잔소리를 하거나
elders will come to
갖가지
lecture me or try to convince me otherwise.
앞으로 찾아오는 손님들이
Sancho,
많을 거다.
expect many, many guests.
그러니까
Thus,
네, 미리
yes, I will prepare cookies baked with cinnamon. The veteran elder of B Corp can't seem to stop coughing on ingesting one of those.
내가 말하려던
I had
건
intended
출타 중이라 하고
to suggest that
성문을
you inform all of them
걸어놓는다는
of
거였는데
my absence
네가
and
말한
lock up the
방법이
castle
더 낫겠구나.
gates. Yet I find your suggestion more enticing.
오히려 제가 우려하는
However,
건
what truly concerns me is that the resistance from your children.
아, 그건 괜찮아.
Oh, you needn't worry then.
가족이잖니.
They are my family.
이해해줄 거야.
I am certain they will understand.
그러고 보니 산초야.
That brings me to a
너는 왜
question,
권속을
however.
만들지 않니?
Sancho, how is it that you are still without kindreds of your own?
혼자가
I enjoy solitude.
저는 앞만 보며 살고 싶기
I wish to live
때문에
the rest of my life looking forward and only forward. I would rather not have anyone tag along behind me. This is interesting that it is Sancho, because in Sancho of at least the book technically had family, had wife, had kids, I think even, so granted, I don't think this is, I think this still works, but I feel like there is a version of this that could have also been done of, but I think it works better of, hey, it's a blood fiend without any added family components that would maybe muddy the waters on, hey, have you bit anyone or made people into more kind of thing. Because that seems very more taboo and probably would cause more friction. I was always my life by looking forward, only forward. I would rather not have anyone tag along behind me.
마음 바뀌면 말해주렴.
Speak to me again should that change.
길 리는 없겠지만
It will not,
알겠습니다.
but I will.
길고도
This war will be a long and difficult one.
같은 동족의 머리를
Difficult because we will have to slay our own kind.
그러게 말이야.
Indeed it shall be.
하지만 머리를
And if we may
다스려야지만
break their
꺾여지는
faith only by breaking their
신념이라면
skulls,
그 나름대로
then
의미
it shall
있는
be a
전쟁이다.
war worth fighting for.
그리고 말이다. 산초야.
Now that we're all discussing this particular subject, Sancho,
아마 보나마나 그
should the war
전쟁은 내가
end, well, in my
이기겠지만
victory, obviously.
예, 예.
Sure.
전쟁이 끝나고 나면
Anyways, should the war end,
모두가
I
행복해질 수 있는
intend to
장소를
build a
만들 거야.
place in which everyone may be happy. Happy.
왜 그런 표정이?
What is that expression on your
그
face?
단어를
It has been
입으로
eons
풀이내어
since that
말해본
word
게
left my
까마득한 일
lips.
기억나느냐?
Do you recall
그자가
that place,
말했던
this
놀이공원이라는
amusement
곳
park
말이야.
she spoke of? The
사람들이
place where
즐거움에
people
몸부림치며
scream and
비명을
shudder,
질러대는
not
장소.
from fear, but from joy.
난 그런 곳을 만들 거야.
That is the kind of place I intend to build.
즐거운데 비명을
I still
지른다는
don't
건
quite understand how
아직도
one
이해가 가지
screams from joy.
않습니다만.
그곳에는 말이지. 산초.
In that land, Sancho,
지긋지긋한 싸움도
there won't be
없고
any wearisome
언제
battles to
잡아먹힐지
fight,
알 수 없는
no
두려움도
constant
없고
fear of getting devoured.
오로지
There shall be only laughter.
숨소리.
Laughter.
저는 그 가족에 속해 있는 혈기는
Though I
아니었지만
was not part of your
지켜보는
family, I
입장에서
suppose.
조금은 기대했던 것 같습니다.
Though I was not part of your family, I suppose, I had once looked forward to the realization of his ambitions. As an observer, of course.
인간들을 죽이거나
In this binary world,
지하
which we
세계에
availed
눈에 띄지
us
않게
with only two
숨어 살거나
choices, to slaughter
둘
humans or
중
to
하나
hide underground
정도의 이
like rats,
세계에서
he
그자는
alone was a dreamer
혼자
who
꿈을 꾸고
conceived of a
있었습니다.
third option.
하지만
Yet,
그곳에서 제가 본 건 웃음에
that
가까운
was no
절규였습니다.
laughter I saw there. They were wailing. They were wailing. Wailing so intensely that it had long turned into something that could only resemble laughter. Let us out of here, or crush our heads.
아니요.
No,
당신들은
you won't be
여길
leaving this
나가지도
place. You won't be finding
죽지도
death
않을
either.
것. 라만찰랜드에
Many
곧 많은
guests will be
사람들이
lining up
방문할
to pay a
예정이다.
visit to La Mancha Land soon.
다들 각자에게
You
부여되었던
You
임무에
recall your
대해
missions, yes?
기억하고 있겠죠?
Though it has been 200
200년이
years, I
지났어도
suppose you had
그곳에선
had a moment
한순간도
to go by
잊어버린 적이
without
없습니다.
remembering them.
인간
Humans,
인간이 다시 온다고?
here again.
축제다.
It's the festival. The festival's not over.
사람은
Can people
바뀔
change?
수
바뀔 수 있을 것이.
I had once thought they could.
길고 힘든 싸움이 시작될
A
거다.
long, painful battle lies ahead of us.
우리를 원망하는
The
혈기들도 있을
bloodfiends that
거야.
will hate and despise us will be countless. Their hatred will be inconceivable.
동족의 배신자라고
They will call us traitors to our own kind.
인간을 해치지 않고
They will claim that our nature cannot change, that our existence is destined to prey upon humans. Something they accept is that immutable truth.
우리는 같은
We
병에
will be
걸렸지.
forced to sever
수백
our
년을 함께
bonds with
지냈던
whom we
동족과의
all
인연.
share our suffering for centuries. Those who feel the very same disease that ails us.
서로의 유일한
Our
이해자.
only kindred spirit in this lonely world.
그러니까
Thus,
지금이 진짜 마지막
now is your
기회다.
final chance.
관둘 사람은
If you do
여기서
not wish to
관두기 좋아.
participate, if you refuse, then I will not stop you.
그럼
I refuse.
미쳤어?
Has she gone mad?
진짜
Wait, really?
그렇게 말해도
I know you won't let me go anyway.
가족이란 게
Just as a child cannot stop being an offspring of their parent, even if they wish they were.
그날
On that day, when the machine purge took place, I was already a dead man.
어버이의 뜻이
The will of the Father is the will of my own.
안 그래도 요새 가위 손
I haven't had a chance to sharpen my scissors as of late. I'll enjoy this.
그래 우리
Very well.
도시냐?
One of you, dear Dulcinea,
그러던가요.
do as you wish.
뜻에 따라줘서 기쁘고
I'm very glad to have my children stand by my side.
다들 너무 걱정하지 마.
Why not? For I am the strongest there is, as you must all be well aware.
그러니 우리가 고민해야 할
Instead, worry
건
about what is to come once the war ends and our victory.
어떻게
Worry about our lives thereafter, about how we will live on.
어떻게 살아갈 생각입니까?
Well, how will you live on?
잘은 모르겠지만
I do not know as of yet. However, I
즐겁게
suppose
살아갈 수 있지
we should be
않을까
able to
싶어.
lead a more joyous life than we do now.
누군가를 죽이지 않고서
To live without our fate bound to murder of a fellow living
그럴 것
being.
같지 않니?
Wouldn't you agree that such a life would be a better one?
드디어 돌아왔구나.
You have finally returned to me,
산초.
my Sancho.
오늘은 정말 기쁜 날이구나.
What joyous day this is to have all my children by my side once again.
인사는
Have you said your greetings? Do you not know how much we all long to see you again, Sancho? What have they
왜
done to you?
그런 걸로 계속
Ah, this.
이거 말. 내 몸에
When I could no longer
수많은
count the number of
말들을
stakes that have
시작하고
been broken in my
그
flesh,
수를 다
when the
세기도
counting itself
의미가
lost its
없어졌으니
meaning,
하늘의 빛이
I
보이더니
saw a light in the sky, and this melded into my body.
파고들다.
A light in the sky. Could he be talking about the golden ball? Then there must have been a lobotomy court branch here, and the golden ball within resonated with his... Ah. Don Quixote slowly walked toward the man who spoke in a sedated voice. That's the Fathom's ego. We should go after her now. We woke up from our confounded silence with all sudden turn of events and hurriedly followed her inside. Ooh, pretty. Wow, it was like 25 minutes, but it felt longer.
싱크에 치고 꼴 새롭게 쓰러진 그 녀석 맞아? 저 많은 혈기를 한 번에.
Is that really the same girl who embarrassed herself in a duel against the Sikh victor? How is she killing so many blood fiends with such little effort? Every time a blood bag or blood fiend approached anywhere near her, Don Quixote struck them down with a blinding blitz.
힘을 숨기고.
Was she hiding her strengths? No, that doesn't seem right, but
혈귀?
she's a blood fiend.
기가 차구나.
How absurd. That creature who deceived us with a false name, Don Quixote, was a blood fiend all along?
인간 행세하면서
Hiding and
숨어
lurking, pretending to be human?
잠깐,
That's enough.
말이
Don't
좀
you think
심하지
that's
않아?
too much? I like that Gregor... Because Gregor knows. Gregor has his arm. It's like, just because he can't hide it, he's... Calling someone else a monster is probably...
더한 말도 할 수
I could
있지만
be much worse if I wanted to be, but I have enough sense to hold myself back in front of the executive manager. Otis did not hide her disgust. She looked toward Faust with the very same expression.
이에 대해서 윗선에서는
The top
물론
brass of the company must have already been aware of this, obviously.
호시탐탐
Of this
우리의
blood
피를
fiend
노리고
hiding in our
숨어있다.
ranks like a snake, biding her time for a chance to sink her teeth into us.
하지만
But
아까 그 이야기들을 보면
those stories we saw earlier,
의도적으로 숨긴 게
she wasn't
아니라
hiding it.
자신의
She really
스스로
believed
정말
that she was human,
돈키호테라고 믿고
that her
있었던
name was
거잖아.
Don Quixote.
동시에 찾아가 해왔던
According to
이야기는
the stories we saw earlier, everything she has told us up to this point was all a lie. Everything we have known about her was all a lie. I'll disagree. Yes, lie, but it's not in... I think Otis views the lie itself as being malicious immediately, but just like literally not knowing is, while could be considered a lie, is also like a lie of ignorance, or a lie of just not knowing, not out of I'm trying to deceive you, so I'm lying to you.
과거의 혈기로 살아가면서
How many humans do you
얼마나
think this
많은
blood fiend has
인간들을
killed in
해쳤을
the
것 같아.
past?
아무리 수상쩍은 짓만
I
하는
understand
미스라고는
the
하지만
duplicitous
나와
nature of
관리자님을
this
위험에
company,
빠뜨리게 한 걸
yes.
방관하는 거.
However, to subject me to the executive manager to such a high-risk situation and to just let it happen is... Can we get on our high horse? How many people have we killed? Like, really? I think Otis is more so upset about herself than Dante, but
방관한 적은 없습니다.
we have never just let it happen.
그래.
Fine.
이제 어쩔 셈이지?
What now then?
라만차랜드의 토벌이 아니라
It seems that we
오히려
are
라만차랜드의
not here
부흥을
to
도와주고 있는
eradicate
꼴이죠.
La Mancha Land, because from what I'm saying, it looks like we've only helped it come together.
교태 씨.
Don Quixote.
그건
That is
내
not my
이름이
name.
아니야. 내 어버이의 이름이다.
That is the name of my father. Don Quixote's red eyes shimmer threateningly at Sinclair. The very same eyes I never wish to see again.
산초야.
Sancho, you... I see.
글러 또한
Not even you could change. Not even a little.
네,
No, I
변하지
haven't.
않습니다. 아무것도
Nothing. Nothing changed.
똑바로 보세요.
Look at me.
당신의 로신한테는
Your Rocinante has suppressed me, but for a passing moment I am still the same blood-sucking blood fiend who can't survive without bleeding others.
당신의 이 라만차랜드도
Just as how your La Mancha land regrets to nothing but a herding ground for us to prey on humans.
그래.
Hunting ground. Yes, it has.
내가
I was wrong.
사람은
People can't
바뀌지 않아.
change.
우리는
We have no choice but to live shackled onto the path dedicated by this disease.
사랑하는 나의
My family,
가족들도
whom I love so much,
그러기에
have tried to convince me to
나를
turn
계속
me
설득하고
to their side.
나만
Yet I was too slow. I was the only one who didn't understand until it was too late. Nicolina
함부로 돌시네.
Coriambro Dulcinea.
당신을 이런 꼴로
Is this their doing? Have they tortured you so? Okay, I'm assuming that's Barber Nicolina. You know, because they didn't really give names like this, if I remember correctly. So it's Nicolina, except for Dulcinea. But essentially Barber, priest, and lady. Is their doing? Have they tortured you so? Ah,
내게
yes, a
어울리는
throne most fitting for such a pathetic lord, wouldn't you say?
산초야.
Sancho,
너를
I
다시
thought my
보던
heart would
눈이
well with joy and happiness upon laying my eyes upon you again.
이제
Yet there is only sorrow.
너만큼은
I thought you, at least you, would have explored the world outside in my stead,
내가
experienced
듣던 것보다
adventures even
더
more wonderful
멋진
than the ones I have heard.
하지만
But this poor soul I see
지금
before me
나와
is no different from me,
내 가족들과
nor my family. Just a blood-starved, red-eyed victim of this sickness. The pace we're in, it's changing.
방금 가치가
His emotions must be affecting the golden bow.
영향.
그러고 보니
Inside the body of that pallid whale we encountered at the Great Lake
황금 가지가
was a
박혀
golden
있었죠.
ball, wasn't it? Yeah, burrowed deep into its heart.
기생이란 생존 방식.
A form of existence similar to its parasitism.
그래서
So,
어떻게 할 거야?
what now?
관리자님,
Executive manager.
황금 가지가 박힌
While that man
저자는
with the golden ball in his
강한
torso may have
존재였을지만
once been a powerful
어찌된
being in the
영문인지
past,
지금은
he
쇠락한
seems to
것으로
have
보입니다.
been severely weakened due to his unknown reason. Due to an unknown reason. Just say the word and I will.
헛소리.
Foolishness.
그놈이 문제가
He is not the
아니다.
only problem here. It's her. She smells
냄새가
different.
달라졌건.
Gertrude pointed her finger toward Don
시계.
Quixote.
싸울 거라면 일찍 말하도록.
Give me a heads up if you're going to ask us to fight our clock. I like a chance to burn a last cig before I go. I'm going to try talking to her first.
같이 가요, 단테.
I'll go with you, Dante.
다른
Guys,
사람들도
this way. I slowly approached Don Quixote, who regards me with her dark eyes, her usual twinkle seeming like a distant memory.
몰라서
Back off.
제 이건 속인 나를
You have brought me, a second kindred here, with an explicit
내
purpose,
어버이를 저런
so that I may punish the blood fiends who have committed such a sin against my father, so that I may end a suffering, meaningless existence.
하지만 저희는 전혀
But we had no idea.
몰랐어요.
It wasn't
의도가
our
아니라
intention to.
아니요.
Yes,
의도였습니다.
that was precisely our intention. Faust takes a step
저와
forward.
워프 열차에서 정신을
Only
잃지
Annen and
않았던
Dante, who
단테만이
remained conscious during the events of the warp train, were aware of this.
뭐라?
What did you say?
수감자의 과거를
This admission could
파우스트가
not
먼저
be
말하는
helped.
것은 금지되어 있기에
Faust is forbidden from being the first to share a sinner's past.
별, 다
SPR.
과거를 숨겨주는 건 그레고르 씨가
But it wasn't just for Don Quixote. She hid Gregor's past and Claire's
다
past.
숨겨주고 있던 거잖아요. 직접 말하기 전까지.
She didn't talk about either of them until they were ready to talk about it themselves. Or were made to.
지금은 저기
I
아군의
believe
침입이
it false
있었던
equivalency to
밝혀진
compare this to those cases when it is evident that this was a
적절치
case of
못하다고 본다.
subterfuge. She was an enemy in our midst. Which makes you which makes your comparison moot. Bloody hell, can't you see? Your reaction is exactly why they didn't tell us. Messy.
난장판이네.
아,
Ah,
다들 사이가 좋아서 그런 거야.
it's because we all care so much about each other.
다들 그만하시오.
Please stop this. I fear that it may become rather untoward. Should we continue to spiral?
그래. 홍눈의
Yeah.
동생을 보고 있고.
Hunglu's little sister's here watching us, guys. Don Quixote watched our bickering wordlessly, until the squabbles among the sinners began to subside. The entire time they bicker, I racked my brain trying to come up with something, but I just hoped you'd understand and come back to our side to be one of us again. All I managed to express was this pathetic, naive hope I'd been stewing in the back of my mind. To be one of you.
너희는 우리의
But you do not
사랑을
know of our eons of
우리의
suffering.
지침과 발버둥
You do
거리는
not know of our battles, our struggles, our agony, our victories. I don't suppose you ever will.
찬찬히 되짚어보면
I will slowly look into each and every one of those torturous moments and rekindle my buried memories.
그럴수록
And with every memory, it is
분노와 혐오를
all
깨우칠
rise to the surface once again. The wrath, the hatred, the loathing. Thus,
나는 더 이상
I can no longer be one of you again. Okay, just eliminate Dawn from the equation, I guess. Oh wait, oh, it's a question mark? There are images, so I thought I would have seen them to know a weakness. Sure. She was one of my main Pierce units too, which I think I'll need.
예리한 검으로 하는 예술이 보고 싶었나?
How glad I am to have you back, Sancho. With you by my side, this place shall be even happier.
내 가족들의
My family has finally found true happiness. Because they have suffered far too long, they deserve this happiness. More so than anyone.
이 라만차에
With your return to La Mancha Land, we shall fill this place with even more laughter.
웃음이라.
Laughter? What a joke.
가당찮은 우린 이놈들을
We're here to exterminate your kind. We have been through so much together, have we not, Sancho?
아무것도 모르는
Let us show them what we have lived through to these ignorant outsiders.
당신은 무모했죠.
You were foolhardy.
상대는 인간의 피를
Our foes were blood fiends who had grown to the size of giants. Those who had drunk so much human blood that it was boiling over, flowing out of their bodies. They were formidable foes. Our battles were challenging.
그곳에서 당신은
Even then, even there you dreamed. A hollow dream, nothing more.
자, 그대들이여.
Hark, my dearest compatriots, thou art ready for this battle. We shall soon strike to the battlefield
문제가
with our
있다면
full might.
지금 말할 시간아.
Speak if aught ails thee.
있습니다.
Aught ails me.
산초여.
Oh, Sancho,
말해보아라.
thou art recognized. Speak thy mind.
말투는 왜 그렇습니까?
Why are you talking like that?
장차 해결사가
Tis
될
only right that a
몸이라면
fixer
그에
or to
걸맞은
be must
말투가
speak in a
옳지
manner
않겠는가?
befitting of his stature.
그리고 이 말투를 쓰고
And my
있으면
heart beats with
왠지
such
모르게
volition
가슴이
whenever
뛴다네.
I speak in such manner.
산초,
O Sancho, pray that
자네도
you
이 말투를
why
써보는
dost
것이
thou
어떠한
not speak as I? Because it's ridiculously juvenile.
하지만
But I can't help but cherish that day when we ran across the green fields together, tasting the freedom.
혈기들의 기습은
You were ambushed by blood fiends who broke your lance.
네가 만든
Yes, a lance. You had crafted me of your own blood.
상대를
It
너무
was a
약간
mistake.
거지.
I underestimated my foes. A rather unfortunate yet unshakable habit of mine.
눈이 조심하라고
I remember
말씀드렸어요.
telling you to be mindful of them.
세찬 바람
A powerful gust knocked me into the air before smiting me down into the grass. And you hurried to my side, didn't you? I remember your face. Your breathing hastened from worry.
그 정도는 아니었습니다.
I wasn't that desperate.
내가
As I lay upon my back, gasping at the sky from the shock,
그 풍경에서
you appeared into that view.
지금 생각해
Perhaps it was in that moment that led us to a victory in that war.
그 순간도
그 전부터 이길 거라고
You were already certain of your own victory even before the war began.
바뀔 수 있을 거라는
I must wonder that if it was the moment I had begun to think we could really change.
평생을 뛰기
Watching you, who hated running all your life, breathlessly sprinting to my side, I thought perhaps we were all changing little by little.
하지만 나는
Yet we failed, Sancho. And everything around us is a record, a testament to our failures.
마음껏
Look around as you will, Sancho, at our desolation.
늦으면 내피랑 먼저 갈 거야.
This is direct.
직접 타도하죠.
Damn. Damn. Yeah, I forgot you were here. I didn't realize you were still joining us.
제가 도움이 될지는 모르겠지만 노력해 보겠습니다.
명령대로.
Very
비뚤어졌구려.
nice.
대의에 거스르지 말고.
Extra nice.
상황이 좋다고 할 수는 없지만 여러분은 하실 수 있을 거예요.
I think that's the second level
길 좀 막지 마.
for Kudo.
시간 끌지 말고 길에서 비켜.
꽤 잘 갈려.
Yes.
괜찮은 공격이네요. 앞으로도 그렇게만
승객이
해주세요.
딱콩 한 방 먹였어.
지긋지긋한 전투가 드디어 하나
Big
끝났네요.
guys. Okay, that one's already getting favored.
거치적거리지만 마.
하루 기다리는 거 못해. 100초만 기다려줄게.
배달을 즉시 수행하여 귀하의 목숨을 보장하십시오.
I feel like I'm hearing an announcement, but I also don't know what it's saying. Who are you attacking? Deviat? Okay, then I guess you have to go there.
거치적거리지만 마.
Oh, come on. So close.
끝이야.
명령대로.
Okay, good second.
이런 것도 되죠.
Another second. Think everything's staggered?
저기 저 개체부터 처리하면 편할 것 같아요.
One lives. And two, 1.
명령대로.
I knew you could take care of it by yourself, Yisan. I would have spread it out more.
편하게 가자고요. 명령대로.
길에서 비켜.
편하게 가자고요.
Sancho walked into the maze that manifested before us as if to obey Don Quixote's words and observe the desolation.
저 혈귀가
So that blood fiend
아까 날 구했던
is the
오빠의
same
친구와
person
같은
as
사람인
that
건
friend of
맞지?
yours who saved my life earlier.
같은 사람이야.
Same person. Are you
돌았나?
insane?
저자 입에서 나온 소리를
Does
듣지
any of you
못했어?
not,
돈
any of this
교태라는
not
자는
register to you that the things she's been saying, this Don Quixote is not.
하지만
But she's still
제가
the same
보기엔
person
역시
from
같은
where I'm
사람인걸요?
standing. Hong Lu replies confidently. Or perhaps that was just how he usually talks, even when we grew suspicious. Even when we found ourselves at a crossroads, his voice would always carry that calm confidence. So much so that it almost seemed silly. But thinking back, he's been more right than wrong. And I hope that is the case again today. I try to put my faith in that hope.
젠장. 어떻게 이런 물러터진 인간들만 주의해. 저것이 금방이라도 돌변하면.
Damn it all. Cowards and milksops, all of you. If that creature suddenly turns violent against us, it's like an unpredictable animal she is, well... Otis. Yes.
말씀하십시오.
Otis straightened up and looked in my direction in her usual militaristic stiffness, but I could see the thinly veiled anxiety and mistrust seeping through her stoic expression. It was inevitable. Whatever the reason, I did hide things from the sinners. And Otis is very sensitive to people withholding information, so that's no surprise that she's so disgruntled about this. However, because it is Otis I am speaking to, we're going to follow Don Quixote. I mean Sancho.
그건
But that is... Sorry, let me finish. Yes, my apologies. I can't know exactly what you're thinking. I can't read minds, you know, but I do know that you are unhappy about this. I should be able to explain everything to you in due time, so I would like for you to trust and follow me through this path, which I believe is our way to victory. Otis' grievances probably run deeper than what's already left her mouth. It wasn't just the omission of intelligence that bothered her. What she was really worried about was the omission of compromising me herself in the operation itself. That's just the kind of sinner she is. Then the solution must be to address that very thing, to tell her that everything is going according to plan. Remember how every mission we have done so far led me to resonating with the Golden Bough? And how that was the key to solving them? It won't be different this time. No, it won't be different. I'm sure of it.
관리자님께서 그렇게 명하신다면
If that is your wish,
따르겠습니다.
then it is my command. Sorry about forcing you to come along.
작전에 성패하는 관계없이
Regardless of the outcome of this operation, and regardless of the soundness of your reasoning,
이 오티스
I, Otis,
지구에
do not
굴복한 것이
fold before the authority given to you by your rank.
제가 불안 요소라
My
판단한
decision to
부분에
follow you is based on your effort to understand and explain the
그것을
potential
설명하려
risks
노력하십니다.
I have pointed out to you. That
관리자님의
is
해를
why
따르겠다고 생각한
I
것뿐입니다.
comply now to your wisdom.
혹은
Or
과거에 했던
perhaps
것을
the memories of your
의식적으로
past are
떠올리시는
subconsciously affecting your currently behavior. I don't remember a thing, though.
저놈이나
Don
관리자님
Quixote, executive manager.
기억이 사라진 틈에
Amnesia has certainly made things difficult for many of us, hasn't it?
도시에는 기억을 없애버릴
There are so many ways to erase people's memories in the city, after all.
그렇지.
Yeah, there are plenty of ways to remove people's memories, and that's just counting what's public.
가장 보편적인
The most
건
common method is moving
기억을
someone's memory
회수하기
into a
위해
different
다른
object.
물건 혹은
or a
사람으로
person.
옮기는 방법.
Some parts of the city even sell them as local products. Don't like what you're saying, Shichu, because I feel like you're hinting at something. Hinting at something like, I don't know, maybe person memory in different objects, or some parts of the city even sell them as local products. No.
두 번째는
Another is to completely destroy the memories. It's cheap, but because it comes with a risk of affecting other
하지만
memories,
의도하지 않는 기억까지
only desperate
건드려지는
black
부작용이
street,
심해서
street dwellers use
뒷골목에
this
거지가
method.
그리고
And now we know the
알려지지도
final
않았고
method, which has so
누구도
far
접근할
been
수 없는
unknown and
마지막
remains
방법.
inaccessible even now,
망각의 강물
the River of Oblivion,
혹은
also known as Lethe.
이 강물을 마시면
Drinking the waters of this river
기억은
allows
의식
one to
저편으로
bury their
묻어둘 수
memories
있게 돼.
beyond the veil of their
몸속의
consciousness,
기억처럼
to the point where they become
아득하고
uncertain, hazy,
희미하게.
and dim like the memories from the dream.
지춘,
So that's what you've been looking for, Jichu?
정확히는
Not
망각의
exactly.
강이 있는 곳
It's a
어딘가에
different
있는
stream.
다른 방이야.
Somewhere near the River of Oblivion.
나는 그 강물이
I suspect that the river I'm searching for has something to do
정신의
with the
불사와 관련이 있을 거라고 짐작하고 있어.
immortality of the mind that our elders had been seeking so desperately.
불로불사.
To be free from
말이지.
aging and death, right?
그래,
Yeah,
지긋지긋한
that old,
그거.
tiresome thing. Maybe that's how my memories were removed. I don't even have the dreamy recollection of my memories. It's like they were uprooted straight from my head. So it's either been transferred to a different person or an object, or it's been totally destroyed forever unsalvageable. Still, I have no clue as to who, how, or why anyone would do such a thing. Chichu briefly glanced at me as my clock ticking on before turning her attention back to Honglu.
그래서 내게는
That's why these scant traces of this bari are so important to me.
그리고 자세히 말할 순 없지만
I can't tell you in any greater detail, but I see them.
그자가 이곳에 남겼던
I can see her ancient traces here.
오빠에게도 중요한
Come on,
정보잖아.
this is important to you too. If we want to survive as heirs, we have to find that thing.
어르신들이 원하는
Find that thing that our elders seek, that immortal. Chichu stops herself midway through her sentence. I see.
우리는 여기서 헤어져야 한다는 소리구나.
So this is where we go our separate ways. Yes.
벌써 가는 거야?
Leaving us already.
길이 갈라졌으니
The path
헤어질
diverges and
시간이네요.
we must each take the other trail. It is time. It's time to say goodbye.
오빠의 친구가
If your friend has really lost her memories from drinking the waters of the River of Oblivion,
굉장히 혼란스러운 상태일 것 같아.
then she has to be extremely disoriented. Coming to terms with the realization that those hazy, nightmarish visions were in fact her own memories, that they weren't just dreams, has to be, yes,
슬프고
it will be
복잡할 거야.
sad and complex.
꿈속에 내가 나인지
After all, who
꿈에서 깬
is the
내가
dreamer?
나인지 통
It
모를
is
테니까.
myself as I have existed in that dream, or myself who has awakened from it.
하지만 나비든
Well,
뭐든 다시
Whichever it
날아가겠지.
may be, whether it is a butterfly or not, it will flutter once again.
말해줘서 고마워.
Thank you for letting me know, Chichu.
그래.
Yeah,
어쩌면
I guess you haven't been spending your time chasing the clouds out here, brother.
모르겠네. 머지않은 시일에 다시
I'll see you
보자.
around. I have a feeling we'll be seeing each other again
이렇게
very
될 것
soon.
같다는 생각이 들거든.
Yeah, probably.
시춘이 그렇게
If you say so,
말한다면
Chichu,
그렇게 되겠지.
then it will be so.
수고로우니까 인사는
Don't bother
생각하자.
saying goodbye. It will be a waste of time.